Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, it's Anita, and I'm coming to you with my top 10 best movies of 2019. So if you're interested in my list, keep watching. Coming in at number 10 is The Irishman. Martin Scorsese comes back to the crime genre and he brings with him Joe Pesci out of retirement, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, where all three of the men um, play off of each other in this crime epic that spans the life over 40 years of time, where we are actually chronicling Robert De Niro's character as the hitman to Jimmy Hoffa and the Buffalino mob, and his ties um, with all of that. So this movie was really, really good. It was really, really long. Yeah, it was long. So make sure you have your snacks, your wine. Well, don't get no wine because you got to go to the bathroom. However, make sure you have your snacks. And well, it's on Netflix, so press pause, baby. Press pause and go to the bathroom, cause, honey, 4 hours, 3 hours and 40 minutes. That's a long time. So anyway, the movie was quite different than his other ones because I know a lot of people was taken aback because it was a little different than his normal movies. He normally um produced the more um flashier gangster movies or mob movies or crime movies, like Casino and Goodfellas, where you see a definite rise and the flashy living and then the downfall. But this movie did not project the movie in that manner. There was no fanfare, there was no flashiness to it. The Irishman was just a husband, a father, and he just also happened to be the hitman for the mob. So I found the piece to be very reflective. Maybe just based on Martin Scorsese, I think he's in his 80s or 70s or something like that. And maybe it's around his time where he's being reflective over, his life and what he's done and how it affected his children and his family and stuff like that. And so this was an interesting look at the Irishman and this frame of storytelling, and I was captivated from beginning to end. I didn't have any problems. The CGI was a little off. You could tell that they were old men in CGI faces, but after a while, it didn't bother me. It didn't really take me out, but it was just hilarious. It's this one scene where Robert De Niro is doing something, and he looks like grandpa doing it. And I was like, no, just no. Anyway, the movie is a good movie. I wish you check it out. You let me know whether or not it's one of your favorites of the year, or you could do or do without it, or let me know how you feel about it. Number 9, Ford v Ferrari. The movie is American car designer Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles battle corporate interference, the law of physics, and their own personal demons to build a revolutionary race car for Ford and challenge Ferrari at the 24-hour Le Mans in 1966. This was a period piece that felt of its time. I think they did a good job with that. James Mangold, this is his film after Logan. Logan was one of my favorite movies of 2017 or 16, and really, really good. He's really great at crafting a story, a narrative, and all of the moving pieces. This action that he did with these race cars, and it looked practical. Just it was phenomenal work, phenomenal work, and the standout for me was Matt Damon's character who played Carroll Shelby, and everybody else tends to say Christian Bale because he had the more media role where he had a couple different layers. He I adored his father and son relationship with his son. I definitely adored that. That was like my favorite part. But he had a lot of stuff working against him. He was one of them. He wouldn't get out of his own bag in order, so he would create his own problems. But the son and his relationship, that was untouchable, and I loved every minute of that. Um, the action was phenomenal, and also that 24-hour car race. Can you believe that? 24 hours? That was intense. It was intense. It was a lot. It was a lot going on. I appreciated it. I really, really enjoyed the film, and I hope you do too. Have you seen Ford versus Ferrari? Let me know in the comments below. Sorry, I had to adjust the lighting. My forehead was shining, baby. Okay, number 8. Jordan Peele's Us. I really, really, really enjoyed Jordan Peele Us. It was about a family who actually goes on vacation, and their vacation is somewhat cut short after a family of doppelgangers show up in their driveway with insidious intentions. Now, that movie was like, wow, that was a movie that kept me talking for days and possibly weeks, because people, it had to roll out and people had to see it, and of course I saw it early, and so as people kept seeing it and I kept seeing more things that was going on, and deeper meanings, and there's a lot of political and social commentary hidden in there about classism, and a movement as a whole. And I was riveted. The only thing that I didn't really care for was all of the plot holes that the story. And Jordan Peele said that it was intentional, and he said everything isn't for, he's not going to interpret everything, and it's for you to interpret. And he left a lot of stuff ambiguous, and a lot of people didn't really care for that. But it makes for repeat viewings. So that's why the box office was so big, because everybody had to keep going back up there because they was like, I missed it. I missed it. So yeah, I think I saw that 3 times in the movie theater, and I was okay every time I watched it. Lupita Nyong'o, she gives the performance of her career doing the two and then she had this voice condition that she did on a doppelganger, and it was great work. It was great work for to be able to portray that stark different character versus her regular character as the mother and of the family. And I was just, and then there's so many twists and turns, and you just got to really pay attention, keep your eyes open. There's nuggets and Easter eggs in there everywhere. Man, search out some breakdowns. I mean, it is a fun ride when you go through them breakdowns and you see all the little pieces that are put together and left ambiguous, and maybe that did happen. Did that happen? One of those type movies, but it was awesome. It was awesome to watch, and Lupita Nyong'o, she needs to be recognized for her work in this movie. Hopefully, she'll get nominated for an Oscar. But I think she did get like some Golden Globes or Emmys and stuff like that. But I really did appreciate Us. Number 7 is another underrated movie of 2019. I would be remiss to not put this in my top 10. The movie's called Ad Astra. Starring Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones. This is a space epic where Brad Pitt has to go to space and on a mission to find his missing father, and he has to travel the outer edges of the solar system to go. I mean, he started off at the moon, then he went to Mars, then he went to Jupiter. So his father was also an astronaut as well for the government, and he was a highly decorated one, and he actually followed in his footsteps. His father left when he was really, really, really young, so it left him with some daddy issues that come full circle in a complete story where the end in the third act comes together so well, where Brad Pitt's character does a complete, like just a complete story arc, and I just appreciated it. I appreciate the message, and definitely the sound editing was phenomenal. I mean, the first scene is in the trailer. The first scene of him falling down, if that didn't captivate you in that movie theater, I don't know what you were looking at. James Gray is the director. That scene was so intense, and the movie is like that. There are ebbs and flows of action and character development. Action and character development. Now, Brad Pitt's character is so um, like calm and collected, shows no emotion and stuff of that nature. So he's doing a lot of emoting and thinking, and you can see the nuance of how every time he blink his eye, or how he squints his eye, or every way he turn his face like he's thinking, he does all of that. So throughout the movie, even though he was quite quiet and reserved, but I still felt like he gave us enough where you definitely could gravitate to him, and you definitely had a feel for his character as the movie progressed. But anyway, that movie was awesome, awesome, awesome. I loved it. I actually gave it a really high score. And yeah, watch Ad Astra. Another movie that had to go on my top 10 list at number 6 is Waves. Traces the journey of a suburban family led by a well intentioned but domineering father as they navigate love, forgiveness, coming together in the aftermath of a loss. This movie was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot, but it was a wonderful story that needed to be told, because there are dynamics of this in people's households, and um, it was wonderful to see on screen um that Trey Edward Schultz was able to convey a riveting piece of work about a simple premise of a family just going through life, and how their decisions and what they did led to this and led to that. Um, I think the movie, the inciting incident, just tore my heart open. I was just like, it was just, it was a mess. Like, I mean, he was he was definitely in his bag. Trey Edward Schultz, his movie was so stylish. The cinematography was good. The soundtrack was good. Oh my god! I mean, it was just, the soundtrack was one of the best soundtracks I've heard um, this year. Actually, um, definitely paved the way to showcase the themes of toxic masculinity, emotional intelligence, communication issues, daddy issues. Touched on all these important themes and played it out really, really well. And it's not that we just get to the inciting incident. We have to sit there and pick up the pieces. And where does that lead you? And where it takes you? And how it wrapped up so beautifully and intentional, where, I mean, it almost felt like two different movies. However, there was a definite through line, but the first part of the movie was so intense, like I just needed a minute to breathe. And that's like what I wish Uncut Gems kind of gave us. We never had a moment to breathe. And that's why coming in at number 5 is Parasite. Parasite is Bong Joon-ho's foreign film in all subtitles, so be warned. Don't go into watching this movie if you're not ready to read subtitles. You cannot be distracted while watching this movie. You have to watch this movie. Um, it tells um, a story about two particular families, one lower class, one upper class. The lower class entangles their way into the wealthier families' social circle and household, and other things ensue. And it was so cleverly written. I like the concept of how that happened and how they worked towards making it happen and stuff like that. And it was very, very slick and clever. And I got all the social commentary and political commentary about socialism and classism. And it was very well told. It was masterful. The way it was shot, it was so beautiful. If you look at the trailer, um, you'll see that beautiful house that 85-90% of the movie takes place in. um that house was beautiful, and the way it was made and the way it was shot, you could just, you knew everything was intentional. You knew Bon Ho had these people doing these certain things at this certain time because everything was so perfect and in line, and you could see just the different symbolisms between different things. And just make sure you take a closer look at what he's saying visually, as far as the have and the have nots. Um, it is a really, really well told story. Cinematography was fantastic. I can't remember the score. It doesn't really stand out to me. But the storyline is really what really gets you, and then all of the different themes that it explores, and the way they do it, and the way they tell it, and the way you see it as you're actually experiencing it. It kind of really puts you like so invested in this whole movie. But go in knowing much or nothing, and just go ahead and enjoy the ride. You won't be sorry. How ironic is my number 3, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Oh my goodness. This experience in the movie theater, being able to experience it in a packed theater with so many people who love John Wick and love the franchise and love Keanu. It's a Keanu renaissance right now. So um we ate up everything that was on that screen. That action was top tier action. It's the gold standard now. Like, I mean, what are y'all gonna do? Y'all better go hard or go home, because I done seen the best. You better come better. So if you ain't coming no better, I don't want to see it. Anyway, my favorite sequence of the movie is Halle Berry and her 2 dogs, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you know what I'm talking about, put it down in the comments and we could talk about it. But baby, that scene, loved it. I love how this movie walked out and made me feel. It was somewhat of a feel good movie. I mean, I didn't feel bad or nothing, but just being entertained by the pure action and the pure genius of the choreography, the stunt choreography, and all the different kills that they did. And it was gratuitous in the killing, but it was done differently each time. So you could definitely, it wasn't like you were repeating story beats, because we had different set pieces, we had different action moves, we had different weapons, the whole gambit. I loved the movie. It was so much fun. And I definitely, do I want another John Wick? We can keep going. I don't know. I feel like they don't really got much story. Like, they keep trying to, kind of redo the same thing, rehash the same thing. So I'm glad that the director is going bigger and better each time, because then that will get old and sell real fast. So, did you see John Wick 3? If you haven't, I'm gonna need you to go catch that ASAP. Number 2, we almost there, y'all. Almost there. Give me one more minute. Y'all still with me? If you still with me, you must like me. Just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Just subscribe, hit the little notification bell, hit like and comment. Let the deeper know you was here. And number 2, Avengers Endgame. The culmination of 22 Marvel Cinematic Universe films to come together to a complete close. Well, I mean, not a complete close, because we still have some phases. But wrapping up those 2 movies satisfyingly. It was phenomenal. Talking about theater experiences like from John Wick, Avengers Endgame was that girl. We was in there. Oh my god. And of course it was on a fan screening and early screening. And when I tell you, when we got to that third act, baby, I mean, everybody was screaming, hollering, jumping up. Oh my God, fan service done right. I mean, you just couldn't get no better than that. I mean, whew. Do you know how many heart attacks I almost had watching that whole huge sequence that we witnessed in Avengers Endgame? And I know you seen it, and I know it's on your top 10 list because I know you seen it because it made over $2 billion. Who hasn't seen it? 50 times. Oh my God, I love that movie. When I tell you I laughed, I cried, I oh my God, I just, cheered and yelled and every emotion that you could possibly feel and muster up because you're so connected to these characters. Every last one of these characters. There are 22 movies. We're connected. So, you know what I'm saying? So to see that come together in the way that it is, whew, the Russo brothers, when they came to the franchise, that's when the franchise shifted. That's when the franchise went from, oh, we just over here doing these comic book movies until we was doing these comic book epics. They turned the knob all the way up. And Avengers Infinity War, that was another doozy. It was another doozy. And then this to follow up with, and of course he has my two favorite Captain America's, Winter Soldier and Civil War. I mean, they're top 10. I mean, top number one for directors in the MCU. But I think they're taking a little breaks. Well deserved. Well deserved. I'm excited about where we're going. It's like we gotta go back from the bottom, and hopefully we'll be there soon enough. We'll see how that works out. Did you like Avengers Endgame? How many times did you watch it? It was really long though. But if that was your favorite, put it down in the comments and let me know. Coming in at number 1. Drum roll, please. Joker. Oh. Oh my God. What I tell you? This movie stuck with me for so long. So long. The hype is real. The movie is outstanding. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. Joaquin Phoenix, he is a legend in the making. That was a brilliant performance from him, which should win him the Oscar. Joaquin Phoenix, you did that. You did that. Todd Phillips, he wrote and directed this movie. The creator of Hangover wrote the Joker movie. Exactly. The cinematography was phenomenal. The score was fantastic. It haunted you. It pulled you right in the framework that you need to be. The storyline was great. It interwove very meticulously and oh my goodness. Oh, the right amount of character development for Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, he was perfect. You could tell exactly where he was at every step of the way. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to say a movie of a lifetime, but I really, 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 really like this movie. Like, I gave this on like 5 stars. I gave this movie like 5 stars. I mean, was there some flaws? But there was a lot of brilliance on that screen. I like the way the colors popped. You see that poster? Yes, I want that in my house. Oh my goodness. The stairwell, when he came down the stairwell into his full descent into madness. Like, you know, when he was dancing, the way he was dancing, you know, there are some things that's just not on script. And he is one of those character actors that can get in there and do what the director and the writer did not write on that page. And that is what I believe is a true talent. A true talent. And I really, really, really appreciated it. It was such a work of art, and I just, oh man, the feels, like, it got me. It got me. Believe the hype. It was real. I mean, it was a lot of controversy about the movie. They thought it was going to incite, you know, white violence and all of that, because yeah, that is real. That is real, and it should be a real concern. But you know, at the same time, we still see all this other stuff too. So if one doesn't correlate with the other, why does it correlate to that one? So didn't really, you know, understand it, but we should just worry about domestic terrorism as a whole anyway, outside of the Joker movie. Like, don't try to blame that on him. So yeah, I didn't appreciate that, but we showed up and showed out. We supported Joker. What did nothing happen? Not one thing did not happen. They canceled a lot of screenings. Why? I don't know. But anyway, the movie was in wide release. I hope you got a chance to see it. If you have not, do yourself a favor and go see that movie. And it doesn't even have to be a Joker movie. That movie could have been a movie just all on its own. But because it had that name attached, y'all went to go see it, didn't y'all? See, all these little small budget movies, I'm not, well, kind of small budget, but these small indie movies that I'm talking about and nobody's talking about, y'all don't go see that. So if we would have had that beautiful movie in a regular movie with a regular, like, Arthur. If the movie was called Arthur, wouldn't nobody go see it. So, I mean, I understand the genius behind putting the marketing to get the film seen, and definitely appreciated everything that movie brought to my life and brought to the culture and brought to comic book movies. It just propelled it forward, and I like the direction that DC is going into, just trying to, like, not try to tie everything in. Do your own thing. It worked with Shazam. It worked with Aquaman. It worked with Joker. Stop trying to tie it in. Work on the best film that you can do, and what can I say? This has been a year for cinema. If you're still here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you care, and I will see you in the next one.